Hi, everybody. This is Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, America's #1 small business expert. Now, let me introduce my next guest. We are talking about how to get yourself to be more visible. And we are here with my guest. Her name is Gloria Chou, and she is an award-winning small business PR coach and the host of the top-rated small business PR podcast. Her untraditional yet proven PR methods have allowed anyone to get to top-tier earned media without needing to hire an agency or publicist or have industry connections or any PR experience. Some of her clients have been featured in Forbes, Business Insider, Crunchbase, and she's been featured on over 50 plus podcasts. Gloria helps early stage founders hack their own PR and go from unknown to being seen, heard, and valued with her proprietary 3 CPR pitching method. One that has helped over 10,000 small businesses get over combined 1 billion organic free views in top tier outlets such as the New York Times, Vogue, Fast Company, Forbes, and more. For more information, go to gloriachoupr.com. Gloria, welcome to the Small Biz Chat podcast.
Oh my God, thank you so much for that intro. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, listen, I think lots of people want to hear from you. Okay, so let's just jump in. How can you go from zero connections to landing a big media opportunity?
See, this is the thing that the agencies don't want to tell you. So listen up. PR is really simple. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not, okay? PR is literally writing a pitch and sending it out. It's writing a cold pitch and sending it out. And if you know how to position your pitch, which is not your sales pitch, which is not your marketing pitch, a pitch for a journalist, and you know who to send it to, then you can just keep repeating that as a system. So it's really about translating our sales pitch, which we're so good at as founders, and really turning it into something that is newsworthy. So what does that mean? Leading with an insight, a trend, something that's not all about you, something that a journalist can use of value. It could be 3 steps or 3 tips or some insights that you're seeing. And we can dive into that later.
Well, I think that's really important. I don't know if how many of you know this, but I actually used to be a television producer in my first career before I became an entrepreneur. So, I mean, you're like strumming my pain, like all these people pitching, oh, I wrote this book. Okay, so what? Right. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing how even people pitch my podcast that way. And it's extraordinary how often people are like, I'm just me. Don't you want to talk to me? No, actually, it's amazing. So can you talk about some of the myths out there that small businesses might be having about getting PR and marketing for their business?
100%. And I actually love that you asked this first because it's really not about the actionable steps. It's about what we believe for ourselves. And I think we so often believe we have to be a fancy startup or we need to know somebody to know somebody. And that's why we never actually do our own PR. And we think, okay, well, those are reserved for those big companies, right? Who have the fancy friends. And it's simply not true. So it's really about you honing in on that and realizing that you do not need time, money, or connections. Those are the 3 things that you don't need to get PR. And as long as you believe that, we can really get down to the basics of how to write and structure that pitch and start pressing send. Because everything you want is on the other side of the send button. That's kind of one of my favorite quotes.
I love that. I love that. Everything you want is on the other side of the send button. So don't be crazy with that. All right. So now let's talk about how do I find the best angle to pitch the media, right? You got to have an angle or it's just not going to work.
Yeah. Um, One more thing before we get into it is the thing is, we're doing journalists a favor. And journalists actually need fresh perspectives. If they were just the mouthpiece of Fortune 500 big companies, probably wouldn't be very credible or ethical. So think about it that way. You're actually helping them. So how do we actually help them, right? We actually want to turn our pitch, which is very kind of, marketing, brochure, whatever. We want to turn that into something that's short, that's concise, that the journalist can work with. And so I have a 3-step CPR method that I came up with, I kid you not, from literally cold calling hundreds of newsrooms and throwing spaghetti on the wall because I never worked a day in my life at any kind of agency. I used to work in the government, so I had zero connections. I was not a cool kid. I was like the person at the outside of the club, like, the person with the clipboard not letting me in the club. So I was like, how do I crack this code? How do I actually get onto, a publication? And from all the pitches that I submitted, I realized that the best pitches that got responses have 3 things in common. They had C, which is credibility, which is one sentence on why you're pitching. You are credible because you are a small business owner. You don't need fancy letters after your name. So C in CPR stands for credibility. P in CPR stands for point of view, because it's all about positioning yourself as an expert, and experts have point of view. So usually in the pitch, it looks like 3 bullet points. It could be 3 tips, it could be 3 insights, 3 do's and don'ts, it could be a listicle, whatever, what have you. And R in CPR method stands for relevance, because what is news if it's not relevant? So think about the seasonality. Is it winter? Are you pitching something for skincare? Is it winter eczema? If you're a career coach, it could be about graduation season and people looking for jobs. If no matter what industry you're in, there's either a regulatory or a policy angle that you can tie it to. Maybe it's commenting about what the Fortune 500 companies are doing and how you're doing it differently. I could go on and on and on, but it's really about finding that piece of relevance that's really going to get the journalist's attention at the get-go.
All right. So how do I find journalists, right? Are they in the phone book? Where am I finding? Do we even still have phone books? Anyway, but my point is that where do we find journalists? Like, how do I find this person I want to pitch to?
I love that you asked that. So we just covered what to pitch. Now it's who to pitch. And it's definitely not the editor in chief of, Vogue, because they're doing their own book tour, honey. They're busy. So what you want to do is you want to pitch to the specific writer of that beat, whether it's sports, fashion, technology, entrepreneurship. You don't want to put, like an info at New York Times or media at. You want to know who that journalist is. How do we do that? Well, we can do it by first installing a Google News Alert. So Google News Alert, it's a free tool you can install, and every day it pings you with all of the articles being published on your industry. And that's good for 2 reasons. One, you get to train your brain to think in terms of headlines, subject lines, and you start to be able to hone in that skill of knowing what stories people are writing about. The second reason why you want to do that is because guess what? Once you get the article, you can copy and paste their name into an Excel spreadsheet, and you can start to populate your own media list. Now, there's obviously, media portals, and then we have this in our program as well, but you can start to do it grassroots like this. Another couple of tools. There's a tool called HARO, which stands for Help a Reporter Out. You can sign up as a source, and every day it will ping you with all the inquiries from all different types of journalists wanting to interview diverse people. You can also be on Twitter and follow a hashtag called Journo Request, and that way you can see what journalists are looking for who to interview and whether or not you fit that demographic or not.
I love it. I love it. You're giving some serious free game out here. All right. So let's talk about the actual pitch itself. What are the do's and don'ts of sending a pitch to the media?
Okay, so we can talk all about this, right? But just really high level, if you want your pitch opened, it's really about subject line. We have to optimize for the subject line so that it can get opened. A lot of times we are not, actually, none of us are really taught this, how to pitch to the media. So I understand that it's uncomfortable and you're like, what do I write? Do I put my name in? No, you want your subject line to quickly tell the journalist what the story is about. So I don't want name, company, please feature me. I don't want anything scammy that looks like a marketing email, like an offer for you. It's really just, it should read like a subject line, like 3 best skills for 2024 graduates looking for jobs. You see how that's very specific. You want that to be in the subject line. Now that we have the subject line, you want to optimize for the body of the email. You want it to be concise. In my CPR method, the P, which stands for point of view, I usually like to have 3 bullet points. So 3 insights, 3 tips. I like threes because you don't want it to go all the way really long and you don't want just 1 or 2. You want to just give the journalist just enough to show them that you have more to say, but you're not going to put it all in the pitch. I also don't like it when it starts to sound like an unpublished autobiography about how you went hiking in Nepal and you had this business idea and then you met, your business partner. No, it's really about the issue. And so the more it sounds like you and your company and it sounds like, what it would be on your sales page, it's going down the wrong path because guess what? You're not selling to the journalist. The journalist is never going to buy from you. So we really have to tweak that pitch, take off our marketing hat and really put on the hat of an expert. What is the insight? What are the predictions? What am I seeing in my customers? And no, it doesn't have to be groundbreaking stories. I think a lot of people get tripped up because they say, well, everything's already been said. Or, who am I to pitch this? This is obvious to you. Well, it's not about being obvious or groundbreaking. It's just about being in the discussion. And I'll give you an example. We had someone who was a Pilates teacher, and she, I kid you not, used our method, and she got featured in a story in 2023 called "What is Pilates?" So this just goes to show that there is readership from every level. The news cycle is constantly churning out content. So don't let the fact that you don't have anything groundbreaking to say stop you from pressing that send button.
I love it. I love it. Now, I have a follow-up question to this. Do you send an attachment or not?
Such a good question. I get that asked all the time. I personally don't like attachments because the spam filters are very advanced these days, and you want to do whatever you can to increase that deliverability. So we talked about subject lines. So you don't want to add more friction. What you can do, because we all have more we want to say that we can't stuff in a pitch, use a hyperlink. And if you do something that's visual, like fashion, apparel, beauty, art, you can put in one photo. You can put in one photo that's beautiful, that's high quality, but not super huge in size, and you can embed it into, the actual pitch. And you can simply say, for more information, about us or this X, Y, and Z, just hyperlink it. Hyperlink it to your about section, hyperlink it to a, folder, but hyperlink it so that the journalist, if they want, can click on it and go somewhere. But I would not recommend attachments, no.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of press releases. You're watching the Small Biz Chat podcast, and we will be right back. Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and I want to welcome you to Small Biz Lady University. Our mission here is to end small business failure. So all of the courses here are about two things: how to become your own boss or how to make money online. So that's what we do here. So whether you want to learn about email marketing and sales funnels, or you're ready to get started with social media selling, or if you're really just getting started with e-commerce, you might want to jump into our How to Sell and Market Online course. Either way, if you want to learn how to become your own boss and do it well, I have everything you need here at smallbizladyuniversity.com. If you have any questions or have any technical problems getting signed up, just email us at support@melindaemerson.com. Take care. Hi there. Welcome back to the Small Biz Chat podcast. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, your host, and we are talking with Gloria Chou about DIY PR to raise your visibility for your small business. All right, Gloria, I'm back to you now. Tell me about press releases. Is it passe, or is it just about these 2-paragraph pitches and keeping it moving? Do I need a press release? And if so, how do I write one?
So press releases, just to give you a one-on-one, there's different buckets of media. So there's paid media, which is our ads, and then there's owned media, which is what we write and put out into a newswire. So that's where press releases fall into. It could be press releases, it could be blogs, something that we own. And then there's earned media, which is, getting someone at like New York Times or Vogue to mention us. And I talked about how you can do that. So press releases do have a place in time, but you want to use them strategically. Usually what I like to do for press releases is to ask myself this question: am I launching something, and is it time specific? And so if you can answer yes to both those things, like if you have a launch, if you have a research survey that you want to get out, if you have a partnership, if something that is time specific, then yeah, use a press release, because a press release is a business announcement that is for that moment in time, and it goes and lives on the internet for decades. It's going to bring you SEO, it's going to give you backlinks, and it's a powerful way for people to search you and find you very quickly online. It doesn't replace all the other buckets of pitching, but it definitely is a way if you are, launching something to get it out there. Another reason why you might want a press release is if you are truly the first to do something. So I work with a lot of founders doing really innovative things, and they might make a skincare oil with adaptogenic mushrooms, and they might be the first one. And so, yes, they would probably want to put that they are the first to formulate this elixir or whatever that is. So that is also another reason why you might want to use a press release. And here's some do's and don'ts about press releases. You don't want that press release, again, to stuff 5 to 10 different pieces of story. You want the press release to be very focused on what it is that you are launching, and it's not going to be the autobiography of your whole entire business. And I don't want it to be longer than 1 page. I want it to be super concise about what it is that you are announcing. And then that's really the first kickoff process. So I think a lot of people think a press release is kind of like a story, or it has to be many different chapters. It needs to be concise, kind of like a resume. You've heard that before. The longer a resume is, the less compelling it is, right? Because you're like, why do I need to convince someone to hire me if I have, so much? So you want to be able to say it in a very concise way. I usually have a very powerful headline and a subheadline. The headline is the what, the subheadline is the how, and then I usually go into 3 or 4 paragraphs max. So it should fit in 1 page. A 1-page press release is really the golden standard.
I love it. Excellent advice. All right, now let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk to you about product-based businesses. And, is pitching yourself for gift guides really an effective way to do DIY PR?
Ooh, I love this so much because product makers are my people. And I think for so long we're told, well, just pay for ads, just keep feeding the algorithm machine. And no one really teaches anyone how to get into a gift guide because you either think it's scammy and pay to play or not. But here's the thing, we have hundreds of founders who we have one that actually just got on Elle magazine yesterday, and she pours these skin oil, like skincare cleansing oils in her home. And she was there mentioned with Dermalogica, a multi-million-dollar company. So it's absolutely available to you. All you have to do is think that it's available to you and use the CPR method again. So with products, think about the seasonality and what you're pitching for. So is it something for Valentine's Day? Is it something, it's a gift for mothers? Is it something that is better for end of year? Don't put your entire like product suite into one pitch. Select the best selling thing for that angle. So what I mean is you're not going to send them an order form. You're not going to send the journalist 5 products. It's going to be, this is why this product is perfect for Father's Day, or this is why this product is perfect for the conscious consumer who's trying to reduce, their waste to zero because we don't have packaging and everything's eco-friendly. So be very, very specific about that. And it's about pitching, connecting. And here's another hack. If you are pitching for a gift guide, please be specific with the dollar amount. A lot of times we have gift guides and raise your hand if you've seen this. It's like best gifts for under $100 or best gifts for stocking stuffers. Let the journalist know how much it is. If it's a premium price point, if it's a stocking stuffer price point, a link to buy it. Like, where is it on Amazon? Is it on Target? Where do we buy it? And where do you ship to? So that way the journalist knows if it's going to be in time or not for that holiday.
Right. And then the thing about gift guides, they're about 6 and 9 months in advance, right? They're not like, it's not a quick thing. It's like you got to pitch early, right?
Well, for print, yes. But for a lot of the founders, if you want digital, searchable, I mean, people write last minute gift guides, even like, 24 hours before. If you have something that's digital, it could be a gift card. And here's another thing that a journalist told me. She says, we even write gift guides for after Christmas. How do you spend your gift cards? So there's always a reason, there's always a season. You just have to really take advantage of that and know that there is a blue ocean of opportunities for you. You got to get creative. I'll give you another example is we had a boudoir photographer and we were able to use the CPR pitch to pitch her boudoir photography as the best self-care gift this Valentine's Day. And she got on well and good. So just be creative with it. There's always definitely an angle. You just have to find that angle.
All right. What is the best business advice you've ever received?
I said it before, I'll say it again, is everything you want is on the other side of the send button. Why have it not be you? Why not put your name in the hat? Don't wait. You deserve to be seen, heard, and valued.
Thank you so much, Gloria. You are a wealth of information. Thank you all for joining me for this episode of the Small Biz Chat podcast. If you are an author, speaker, coach, or consultant looking to learn how to become a national brand, I want to help you attract corporate brands, media opportunities, and more at my Branding Demand 6-month group coaching program, which starts on March 20th. I'm teaching A to Z how to build a $1 million brand. And I've worked with over 150 corporations, and I want to teach you how to do it too. So all you have to do is head over to smallbizladyuniversity.com for more details and sign up today because space is limited. The mission of the Small Biz Chat podcast is to end small business failure. And I want to leave you with this. You never lose in business. Either you win or you learn. God bless everybody.